Hello, good folk of the internet. Welcome to episode 3 of our Christ based podcast, Adopted and Awkward. I am your host, JJ, and my co host is Nova.
That's me. Yeah. So, JJ,
Hello? Yes.
what did Eve say when she found Adam climbing into the fig tree?
I don't know. What did Eve say when she found Adam climbing into the fig tree?
What are you doing in my closet? And it's okay if you don't laugh because I told JJ before we hit record, she's probably not going to get this joke. It
I
literally took
do,
me,
though.
it literally took me. Do you really?
I
Do you get it?
do.
Do you get it? Because it
Well,
took me
yeah,
days. It took me literal
because
days.
Because, like, they're depicted as having, like, fig leaves, like, over the that's their clothes, isn't it?
Yes,
So
after they sin, they stitch together fig leaves, but I didn't get the
yeah.
joke until I tried to think about it. I'm like, "Why would he be climbing into a fig tree? Why would a fig tree matter? Like, why is it the I didn't understand.
Why is that the closet?
And then I remembered, "Oh, right, they made." I
That
get
is
it.
so
I
funny.
get it. But yeah,
I like that one. That one was better than last week's because did you
yeah.
actually did you actually speak to one of your elders about that? Did they explain it? Because, I mean, I get it, but I don't understand why where the cereal comes from. Like, 2 cows, like, what?
Honestly, I completely forgot about it due to other things that happened.
Yes,
So
you've
it
had a week, haven't you?
it kinda slipped my mind, but I'll try to bring it up next time I see them.
Just explain this joke. But no, I like that one. I do like that one's funny. I like that. And I get that. I'm actually surprised. I'm actually surprised I got that. But
Are
yeah,
you
you
surprised
you
that
have
you
had a
got
week,
it,
haven't
or are
you?
you surprised that I didn't get it?
No, I'm surprised that I got it
I'm
because, I
also
mean,
surprised you got it. I'm actually very happy about it.
so yeah, I mean, I do get a little nervous about the Bible jokes because I obviously I'm not very, like, well versed in scripture. I am reading my Bible, but I've not read all of it. So there will be jokes that I'm like, okay, don't get that, sorry. But
I do
but
feel
this
very
is why it's
fortunate
good.
that I did figure it out without going to the Bible verse, because the Bible verse is it comes from Genesis 3:7, which of course
Yeah,
is them, talking about their eyes were opened and they realized they were naked, and so they
yeah.
so I did get the joke without going to the Bible, which is kind of like the giveaway, the answer, if you will.
Yeah.
Uh, so so I did get it without doing that,
Well, then that's
but
good. But I must admit, like, these
mm.
jokes are good, like, if we both don't get it, because then, like, I think we did with, was it the Book of Esther?
Oh,
No,
Ruth,
Ruth.
the first one,
Ruth.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. And then we actually looked into the Book of Ruth and, and explained it that way. So that is good.
Mhm.
I think that is good. So, but anyway, I know you've had a week. Obviously, I don't know how much you want to share of that week. That is entirely up to you.
Well, I mean, it wasn't. Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
I think why don't you start because you always have the interesting Sundays and your stories are probably shorter than mine.
Well, we didn't do an episode last week, but
That's true. I forgot. Yeah. So we did skip last week because of
yeah, just
schedule conflicts, basically. Stuff
life.
came
Yeah,
up. Yeah.
life happens, but but we keep moving. So actually, last Sunday just gone was very calm and normal. It was Holy Communion, so yeah, so we do. Although I will say, right, whenever we do Holy Communion, we go round. Well, usually you kind of stand up and you say the peace, and um peace of God be with you, or God be with you, that sort of thing. And usually, like in other churches, I've heard that you just stand up and you say it to the person next to you. Oh no, at my church, we literally just we're like an army of ants that just like we honestly, it's like we wrestle each other and say the peace, and it's like it's just so full of love. Like we go around hugging, or if you're not a huggy person, hold hands and stuff. So we don't just stand, where we were sitting and say it to the person next to us. We go round. Everyone walks around and says it to everybody, and it's just like this big happy family, and I love it so much. I love my church. I absolutely adore it. So, but that was the only crazy thing that happened because it was Holy Communion. But the week before, it was every month we do an all age service.
Before you
So when
before
it's
you get into the all age thing, I have a
yes,
question. I don't think I've
okay,
ever asked you this before, and I don't even know if you'd know the answer. When you talk about like doing this peace be with you, your Holy Communion thing,
yeah.
I've only ever heard of that happening in the Catholic Church, capital
Well,
C
yeah,
Catholic.
yeah. And my pastor has brought that up, and he said that usually in a Catholic church, it is just like you just say it's the person next to you.
'Cause I've been
Um,
to like, I've attended a
yeah,
Catholic church before. My grandparents are Catholic, and, I do remember going, and they would,
yeah,
stand up and be like, "Peace be with you, peace be with you."
yeah,
Yeah,
it
you're kind
is.
of whoever's around you, and I always found that uncomfortable, honestly, because 'cause I'm like
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, to be honest, like I did at first, and he did say that it is usually a Catholic tradition. I'm not Catholic, I'm Baptist. I would say that I'm just a follower of Christ. I don't so
So
many
do you go to a Baptist
denominations.
church? Is that
I go to I go to a Baptist church.
Oh,
Um,
I did
so
not know that.
yeah, I don't actually know what that means, Nova. I will be completely honest with you because there's so many denominations.
Oh, well,
I'm
hey,
still
I know that, we have someone who may be able to answer what that means.
oh
One of my elders who listens to the
yeah.
podcast.
Oh
Sh
yes, please. I feel like it's really bad of me not to know what it means, but for me, like my journey with Christ is I am a Christian. I follow Jesus. I try and
Mhm,
emulate Jesus as much as I possibly can.
yep.
The denomination stuff confuses me.
Yes.
So it
Yes.
really does. But in terms of saying the peace to each other, that is a Catholic tradition. But my pastor, he just loves it. He loves that it involves the congregation. Obviously, we go that step further, and we just
Oh
sort of
my
like
gosh, I will
run after
say
each other and hug each other,
there
and are
the
like, "Peace of God be with you."
the ant description is actually pretty darn accurate because I envision, especially if you, like, step on an anthill or something, they all scatter and
Yeah,
scurry around each other,
honestly,
and it's like
yeah,
that's a pretty good visual for what I
it is.
imagine your church doing, which is
It
fascinating. I love it.
Yeah, it is. Because and I mean, as a whole, we are a very huggy church. We love to hug, oh, it's just so full of love. It truly, truly is. So, but yeah, it is from what I can gather from what my pastor has said, it is a Catholic tradition. But he likes
Hmm,
it. So,
yeah.
and there's, why not? Why not say peace, God be with you, or I think that's great. And at the end, this is so funny actually. This is actually at the end of every single Sunday. We say may the oh gosh. Oh, I forgot it. I forgot it. A minute.
We only do this every
May
Sunday.
I know. It took me so long to learn this because they have it up on the screen. So we say, may the peace of the Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all now and forevermore. Amen. And it took me so long to learn that. And we have to look around and say it to each other. And for the
Hmm.
longest time, I was like looking around, but keeping my eyes on the screen so I could literally like say the words while I was like moving my head round. But I finally got it. And there was actually at the all age service, there was a new lady. A new lady had come. And when we were doing that, And she said, "Oh, I don't know this yet." I said, "Oh, don't worry about it. You will, it will click. You will get there." Honestly, I
Mm.
was exactly the same. And I think it's nice, and I love that there was a new girl there. I really do. It was really nice. But
Mm.
yeah, so our all age services, we do them once a month because usually for our regular services, the kids go to youth church, and but once a month they're allowed to um, be part of the whole service. So, and it's always fun. And this particular um, service, we oh gosh, I'm trying to think how best to describe it. I did describe it to Nova, but our pastor was trying to teach that it is important who you ask questions. So if you're looking for an answer like spiritual advice, it is important who you look to and who you ask questions. And to do this, he he just sounds so silly. He went around and put post-it notes on our foreheads with obviously a character or a person on the post-it note. We didn't know what was on our
You
post-it note.
basically just played charades.
Well, no, charades is where you act out. Um,
Charades with words.
so so I had, for example, I had SpongeBob SquarePants on my forehead. But I didn't know this, so I paired up with another person and I had to ask like questions. Am I famous? And they could only answer yes or no. Um, and then
Mm.
am I a cartoon? Yes, da, 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 da. And I eventually got it. Whereas my mum had someone that I knew about, but I didn't know enough to be able to answer her questions accurately. So she didn't get it. So that's the whole point. Like, just be careful that who you go to for advice. Yeah, and that was really fun. And also there was another one where we had to get up on at the front. So there were 7 adults. I volunteered to get up and there were 7 kids. And the kids had to stand behind each adult and our pastor gave each kid an object for which they could describe. And obviously if the kid was given and then the adult had to guess, if the kid was given an object that they were familiar with, like for me, I got the kid that was behind me got a tennis ball, and so it was easy for him to describe it and I got it. But there was one of the kids got, it's one of those things that you wear that counts your steps, a pedometer, I think it's called. And obviously this kid didn't
I
know
just
what
have a
it was, so we had
smartwatch, so
well, yeah, so but he didn't
Oh,
know how to describe it, so then
yeah,
the adult
yeah.
couldn't get the answer. So yeah, and I thought it was just a fun way of demonstrating that. And obviously with it being all age, it's very much geared towards like the kids have fun as well while they're learning. Um and the best thing is that obviously, like on normal services, like we sit in rows, but when it's all age, all the tables are out and you can just sit in groups around tables and there's colouring. I love it. I love it. I like to colour and I love the all age service. I really do. And I have some exciting news.
Hmm.
I'm getting baptized on the 2nd of August. I am so excited. I can't wait. I was supposed to get baptized earlier this year, but I'm really glad I did. I postponed because at the time, I think it was like only a couple of months after I'd lost my dad. And I'm going to be completely honest, obviously going through grief. When my pastor asked me if I wanted to be baptized, um, they could sort a date out. I said I can't at the minute because I'm not in the right place to be. Because to me, this whole thing, it's such a huge commitment, and I wanted to bring the right kind of energy. I was grieving, and I was a little bit mad at God, and I will be completely honest. Um, so for me, I think it was the best decision because now I am so looking forward to, like, I've already given my life to Christ, but this feels like it feels like an official thing. I can't wait. I cannot wait. So, and it's full submersion, and yeah, so 2nd of August.
3 weeks.
I know, I am so excited. Um, but apart from that, I don't actually think I've had a very eventful week, other than I'm knitting teddy bears now.
She is knitting teddy bears, which has me very excited because that's one step away from my personal request of her to knit a nug for me. And if you don't know what a nug is, which is probably everybody who listens to this,
Yes, probably.
they're a little fantasy creature that when we
And they are
start
very
getting
cute.
into our backstory of how we met,
Yeah,
nugs will be explained.
they
But
will be.
the nug is spelled N-U-G like mug, but with an N. That it's.
And they are very cute, but they do have creepy hands, but we will not,
We
we'll
don't
ignore
talk
that.
about that. That's not the most important part.
No, they're very cute and have large ears. But yeah, we will explain all that when we talk about how we actually met, because we keep saying it, but honestly,
I
it's just
didn't.
the craziest
Well,
story.
we keep saying it because I feel like, our first episode was about us, and this is just
Yeah.
episode 3. I didn't want to have like, oh, let's talk about us, and then let's talk about us some more. And the podcast is about us, but it's not about us. That
Yeah,
makes
it's
sense.
about our yeah, it is.
Like
It's
I don't
like
want
it's
a whole episode to be just us,
no.
or space it out. Space it out.
Yeah.
So,
And but I suppose it is our walk with Christ and what that looks like.
yeah.
Um so but I mean, do you want to tell everyone what we've decided? Because we spoke yesterday, right?
Mhm.
We talked. So on a Monday, on my Monday morning, we say, right, what we'll do is we will have a discussion about what we are going to cover, the topic that we have selected for the podcast. And
Which
then
ends up
then
turning
we'll
into a podcast in and of itself that we don't
it
record.
does. Yeah, exactly. And it's nothing to do with the
It's
topic that we've
the
selected. Like yesterday, we spoke for like over 2 hours,
oh my
and
gosh.
it would have been an amazing podcast. So we've decided to try and just go with the flow a little bit, have topics to fall back on.
Yeah.
But yeah, just see where
Yeah, we try to have a routine and try to have a format, and we're like, you know what? Our format is not having much of a format. That's what works for
it
us.
is that is what works for us. I think so. I do
So,
think so. But yeah, so that's my week, or my Sundays, and my news about my baptism. Not much else has happened this week, to be honest.
well, over here in America,
Mm.
we I don't really know if the party stops on the 4th of July or if we're just gonna celebrate the entire year. I'm not really sure what what the powers that
Well,
be
yeah,
are
I suppose it's
thinking,
an important one.
but because I know we've been, there's been activities leading up until the 4th of July, but I don't know if there's going to be
Yeah,
continual activities until the end of the year. Don't know how that goes, but yes, 4th of July was America's birthday, 250 years. And this week was very busy for me. It's probably the
yeah,
busiest week I've had in a very long time. And two major things happened. One was that I got invited to a 4th of July party. And I'm going to start with that one because that one's the happier topic.
yay.
Um, which that's actually really fascinating because so obviously I was invited a few weeks ago uh by a woman from the church.
Yeah.
I am going to refer to her as Mrs. Potts
Mm.
because she's so lovely and she's got a big family and takes care of people whether she's related to them or not. So
Beautiful. Love it.
I think Mrs. Potts is like the best name for her. Um, and if she ever listens to this, I hope she takes that with the compliment that it is. And um, so yeah, she invited me, and as soon as I got the text or the invitation, I was like, I honestly felt a little depressed because I'm like, it's the 4th of July. They never give you the 4th of July off unless you ask for it. And I hadn't asked
Yeah,
for it. And usually every 4th of July is like you go to work. It's just another day, except you hear fireworks, which is the reminder that it's
yeah.
actually not just another day. Um,
Mhm.
so honestly, the last 4th of July that I spent with like with I where I was with family and we actually went out and did something, it wasn't a happy memory. Um, there ended up being a bit of an argument, a bit of frustration, and it ended up with me like the family getting split off. Some of the family members went to go like I'd planned this whole trip because it was supposed to be like my last little family together before I was going to move away. And
Yeah.
it ended up with me like crying on a bridge because
Oh, no.
my family just we couldn't even, it's something so stupid. We couldn't agree on where to like sit and watch fireworks. And
Oh my
so half
goodness.
the family went off one way, me and my mom went off another direction, and I'm just like in tears because this isn't how I wanted it to be at all. So
Yeah.
that's like the last memory I have of 4th of July. Not great.
No.
um, but this year I was fully expecting not to do anything. And then I went into work and I looked at my schedule. I'm like, I have the 4th of July off, like the night of the 4th of July. And I told my boss, and he's like, "No, you don't." I'm like, "Yes, I do." He's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "I think so." And he went upstairs, we checked the schedule, and he's like, "Huh, I guess you do." And then he pulls out a pen, he's like, "I can change that." I'm like, "No!" He's messing with me. So, yeah, I ended up getting to spend not only the 4th of July, but the special 250th anniversary 4th of July with, even though I wasn't related to anyone here, it was a family gathering. It was literally, moms, sisters, brothers, grandma, grandpas, aunts, uncles,
Yeah,
like family. I'm like the one person who's not blood or married related to any of these people. I did not feel discluded at all. Like
that's
I was
amazing.
so welcomed by people who've never met me before. You know,
Yeah.
the only people I knew there were Mrs. Potts and her husband who I go to church with. So the rest of her family, they didn't know me, but it was such a lovely time. I got to have my
That
first s'more. They
Yay!
they set off fireworks in the driveway. It was just so happy, and I felt so blessed to not only have been invited to participate with these people, but
Yeah,
that I was actually able to participate. Um, so
that's wonderful.
it was really great, and yeah, just spending time and almost everyone there. I'll say almost because there were little children, and I know, um, I don't know if they would consider themselves born again Christians exactly, but every adult there was was a Christian. So it's
Yeah,
like you can it's kind of amazing in that for the most part, if you're in a party with a bunch of Christians, you can literally talk about anything. You can talk
yep,
about your faith, you can talk about politics, you can talk about your hobbies, you can talk about whatever
mhm,
the heck you want. And even if they don't agree with you, they'll be respectful about it, you
yep,
know? Um, Whereas if you go to a party with a bunch of non-Christians, you immediately know, well, can't mention Jesus here. Um, not
Yes.
without
Oh,
somebody
definitely.
getting riled up or,
Mhm.
so,
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
so it's almost like freeing in a way. And one of her, I believe it was her daughter's husband, um, was actually a former police officer, and it was really interesting hearing a bit about him and how I don't know if around the world people heard about like the Summer of Love, 2020, George Floyd riots, and all that nonsense. Um, s-
Alright.
but if you're aware of all that, I actually moved to uh, a city, or well, I moved nearby to a city where some of that nonsense was taking place.
Mm.
And it's interesting because when you look at someone, if you look at that on your TV, on the news, or whatever, you're probably thinking one of two things. You either hate the police because, you look at them as evil or whatever,
Yeah.
or you're upset because the police aren't doing more.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to hear. I didn't speak to him directly um, about any of this. Like, it's one of those things you kind of don't want to bring up unless you really
Yeah.
know the person very well. Um, but I was just kind of told a little bit about his background and how he was a police officer who was in those riots, and
Yeah.
he was actually ordered to not do anything.
Yeah.
And what makes that really even more interesting to hear is that he's a Christian. So
Mhm.
he's doubly frustrated, and I was told that before he quit, because he inevitably quit after that, um,
Oh, right, so that led him to quit.
yeah, quit, retire, leave the force in some
Yeah.
capacity.
Yeah.
But I was told that while he was standing there and all he could do is like hold up a shield to defend himself against these lunatics who literally wanted to kill him and his comrades.
That must have been so scary,
He
my goodness.
he was reciting psalms to himself.
Yeah.
And I thought about um that reminded me of another horrific story. And I haven't looked this up myself. This is literally like coming secondhand from another podcast. Guess which one?
Mhm.
Um, I guess we're a bit early on in our career, so I'll say it's the Live Free podcast. I'm gonna quote this thing like nonsense. I may as well just like have. I wish I could like just like I don't know. I should just put a link to it in our YouTube channel. Just be like, I
Yes,
quote this all the time. So
you
um
should.
I should. But no, when I'm hearing this story about this guy in our modern day, this police officer, reciting psalms because he can't do anything else. He's restricted from doing anything else.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard of Nero's Circus.
No.
I I don't I want to be very clear. I haven't researched this myself. So, and it was not a topic of discussion. It was just kind of like a reference.
Mm.
But from what I understand, you know who Nero was, right? Basically, Roman, I think Roman. I'm probably getting all of this history wrong. Basically, he was a ruler in ancient Rome, I believe,
Alright, okay.
in the time of the Apostle Paul.
Never, never. Right.
I could probably Google search this, but I don't want to. So, um, he's not so much important. What's important is this Nero Circus thing. I'd never heard of this before. And when they were talking about this on Live Free, I almost cried. In fact, I think I did tear up. Apparently, what Nero's Circus was is it was basically like a display of Christians being slowly tortured and murdered to death.
Oh
Like
gosh.
they were placed up on poles or on pikes and they were like doused with gasoline or the equivalent thereof, or oil or something, and set on fire. And not only are they being like pierced from, the bottom up through their heart very slowly, they're also set on fire. But
Oh my goodness.
apparently, they would recite psalms as they're being burned and slowly impaled to death. And
Oh,
like when I heard this police officer's story, I immediately thought of that, and I'm like, it's not exactly the same thing, but I always find it interesting that the Psalms seem to be where like Christians find the most comfort in
yeah.
times of
Oh,
trouble,
yeah, definitely.
which
And
I
I think
can
that
I can relate to on a personal level too, because when I had to come back early from my vacation after my ex had left me, um, my uncle even suggested to listen to Psalms or read the Psalms. I listened to them on an audio Bible while I was on the train, and like, I would just let it play in my ear while I fell asleep because I'm stressed out. It's kind of hard to, just get rest when you're worried about, what's gonna happen. But it's all right. I didn't mean to cut you off.
oh, no, it's fine. No, honestly. No, I was just gonna say, like, that kind of faith for me, I think is just absolutely beautiful, and that is what I not that, I wanna go through something like that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just, for the record, absolutely do not wanna go through anything like that, God, just to
And,
be completely clear.
clarify that. I don't no,
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
now I've said that, he's gonna be like, "Oh, right, okay, let's send her another lesson." No, I'm good for lessons.
Yes.
Just to clarify,
Yes.
I am good for lessons until maybe 2 years from now.
Yeah.
But I do think that kind of faith is absolutely beautiful. I I've heard, and I do not know how accurate this is, because I don't actually think in scripture we actually have accounts of the apostles being martyred. I know that, they say that Peter was crucified upside down, stuff like that. Um and
I
John,
think there are a few that, uh I think there are a few that are outright stated, but I think some are
yeah,
implied, and then, like, I don't know, historical documents from elsewhere kind of
yeah.
confirm,
And
but I don't fully
as
know.
for as for John, and like, I am not educated in this whatsoever. This is just what I've heard and listened to. So obviously do your own research.
Mhm.
But I've heard that John, he was captured and he put in some sort of arena, and like all the, Roman people, and he was like boiled alive in oil.
Yep.
In
That
fact, yeah, is that right?
Yep, and it failed.
And it failed.
It
It
failed.
failed,
Oh,
and
imagine
all the
that.
way through, I know, right? And all the way through this,
Oh,
he was praising God. He was singing God's praises as he was being lowered into oil to be boiled alive in oil. And that to me just blows my mind. And it didn't work. And didn't in the end they think, right, this guy, we can't kill him. So just
yeah, they
just
exiled
send him
him.
away. Just yeah, just
They
send him
exiled him.
away because we cannot kill this man.
Oh.
And I find that so funny. But that faith, and again, just to clarify, I do not want that to happen to me. But I find that faith absolutely stunning. Like
It's
to
like
have to be lowered into boiling oil and to still sing the praises of the Lord. Wow. I mean, that's just incredible. And,
yeah.
obviously, the policeman who couldn't do anything in this particular situation, but and I know it's not comparable to being boiled alive in oil, but the same
Yes.
thing stands is that he was in a situation that was going to be really scary.
He could have
And
very likely lost his life. I mean, it was literally him
exactly.
and a shield, and if that shield gets torn away, yeah.
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 And but for him to recite psalms and to, obviously, it is for comfort, but to be thinking of the Lord in that time of utter terror, I think it's a beautiful display of faith. I really do, and I admire that. I truly admire that. So,
It's
but yeah,
actually really cool too, because the same that same guy, um, before we before we ate, obviously, we did a prayer, and he actually said the prayer, and just listening to him pray. This was before I knew. I think I'd been told he was a police officer, former police officer, but I hadn't been told his story. Or maybe not, I don't remember. I know the story
no,
came later, but I don't remember if someone mentioned him being a cop or not. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Um, just you could tell by the way he prayed. I mean, he prayed and then he pulled out his phone and actually read Psalm 33. And I think the reason he did that is because I actually was wearing a shirt because obviously it's the 4th of July. So my 4th of
yeah,
July shirt it said one nation under God. And
hmm
it had like the red, white, and blue, cross theme on it. And me and Mrs. Potts actually kind of made the comment, or her and I think it was another lady made the comment, like, "Oh, what's Psalm 33 say?" I'm like, "I don't know." And then he read Psalm 33 during his prayer, and then once he finished up, he's like, "That's Psalm 33," and it was his favorite psalm. Like, it's so cool.
yeah. The Psalms are wonderful. They really are because I think it
Mm.
can show. It just shows such a range of emotion. Like there's the some of the psalms are pleading with God, and it really does get into the depths of how sometimes hopeless you can feel, even though you are full of faith. My favorite one in particular is Psalm 139, and it is a pretty angry psalm. Um, but
I was gonna
and
say, I love how you were just saying, Psalms, there are the comfort ones or the ones
no,
about
but they are
hopelessness
the
and depression. And then there are other ones where it's like, Lord, strike my enemies dead.
yeah,
Like,
serious.
whoa,
There is such
whoa.
yeah, there is
I love
such
it.
a range of
I love it.
emotions in the Psalms. And I find that, and I think it's because it's like when I first came to Christ, I thought, right, so suppress these bad emotions. I can't be feeling this way because I've got the Lord. I should be, count it all joy.
Mhm.
And that is hard to do. So for me, the Psalms are a reminder that even the most faithful, because it's David, isn't it? The
Yep.
Psalms are David? Yeah.
I know he's one
And
of them.
he
Who wrote most
yeah,
of them. And then I
and
know
he
there are
was
other
he was
psalmists or whatever, but mostly him, though.
and this yeah, and he was a man chosen by God to be
Hmm.
king. And even he struggled. He was so faithful, and he
Yep.
faced Goliath. And even he struggled, and that is encouraging. It's okay to feel these things as long as you take it all to God. And this is what the Psalms are. It's literally, taking it all to God. And it points me back to, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, but you said one of our conversations, I think last week, about how you don't want to be like the Israelites and grumble
Hmm.
against the Lord. But and we discussed it, and I think God's, and obviously I'm not saying that I understand the way God thinks, absolutely not, I could
Yeah.
never.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to make that perfectly clear.
Yeah.
But I'll just say what my interpretation is, that I think God wants you to come to him rather than grumble to another person. So the Israelites were complaining about God
Mm.
rather than going to him and saying, look, this is what I'm struggling with, I need you.
About
And so yeah,
God versus to God.
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Because your anger, your suffering, and your pain will never intimidate God, even if it's directed at him. And because going through grief, there have been so many ups and downs in my journey, but that honesty that I have with God has done nothing but strengthen my relationship with him, the
Mm.
ups and downs. Um, and yeah, the Psalms are a really good display of that, I think. So, and I will say as well, and I don't know whether I mentioned this. I probably did. I did. I did mention it because I remember you talking about it. About sorry, yeah, and it was. I think it was the testimony podcast, episode 1, when I said that Psalm 139. I was
Mhm.
asked to read it,
Yep.
a week after my dad died,
Yep.
and, that to me was just like God was saying, "I'm here. I know this hurts, and I know that you are in pain, but I am in it with you." Um, so yeah. But anyway, I am so, so glad that you got to experience a beautiful 4th of July and, like, a really special 4th of July as well.
Yes, it was definitely eventful and memorable in the best
That's
ways.
beautiful. And it just goes to show what having that fellowship and a church family can do, and much it can bless you
Well, yeah.
outside of the church.
Yeah. I mean, if I'd never found my church, if I'd never been led to, I don't know if I've said its name before. It's called Evergreen if I haven't. Um, if I hadn't been led to Evergreen, which I've said before to my uncle, to my pastor, to my elders, like I was led to this church. I didn't just
Yeah,
stumble in from, I was no, I this was not an accident that I ended up at this church. Um,
yeah,
but if I hadn't been, I mean, I don't know where I'd be right now. And I'm
yeah,
not too
and
worried about that because I'm happy where I am right now. So,
exactly,
you know, and
exactly.
kind of speaking of that community and all that, um, I really hope that I can bring someone else into my community, or even if
Mhm.
not my community, find a community of their own. Which is
Yeah,
the other thing that happened this week is I have a coworker, and I'm gonna call him Johnny. And this particular Johnny is going to be the reference to the cyberpunk Johnny. Again, if you don't know who that is, that's fine. You don't need to. He's just a messed up character, which is perfect for this individual. Um, so, yeah, Johnny hasn't been having too good of a time at work, and it was really noticeable to me when it was like a week or two ago, or maybe 3 weeks now. I saw him at work at like 3 in the morning. He doesn't normally start working until 6 or later. So I walked up to him and I'm like, "What are you doing here?" And he wasn't going through a best time. He hadn't slept for a few days, hadn't really eaten anything, and he was just bored and didn't want to be at home. So he just happened to come, like literally walked up to the store, which is over an hour walk. Okay.
yeah,
Um. So I told him that, if he wanted to get together and talk, I'd be willing to do that. And I invited him over. It would have been on July 2nd. No, I didn't really know what to expect from this. I didn't think it would be like a party type thing. It was more something like I knew he needed to get some stuff off of his chest, so I was just gonna be prepared to help him listen.
yeah.
But got us some pizza and tried to make it, just a friendly little evening. Well, almost 12 hours later, I can't believe so much happened that night. And this this coworker's been through some stuff. you you would
Yeah,
not believe how much weight he carries. And I'm not going to say too much about it. One, I'm not going to reiterate 12 hours of
no.
I don't even want to say it was a conversation because I literally did more listening than talking. So, like, yeah, don't need to go into that. All I'm going to say is that I he doesn't see a lot of value in his life.
Yeah.
And to hear his story, you can understand why. You can definitely understand why. And yet, as he was talking to me, all almost all I could think of is I see God in your life, even if you can't.
Yeah.
And, maybe one day I'll go into a bit more, depending on how things go with him, because I definitely want to help him, and I don't want to lose. I don't, it's not like anything he told me was like keep this between us, but it's just for the nature of it being a podcast or everything.
Yeah.
I don't need to go into like his story is his story to share with whomever he wants, whenever he wants. Um,
Hmm.
but there were just some things he said where it's just like I will say he's not a believer, but he does have a Catholic background. He's not like an ardent, I don't believe in anything, and not like an atheist or anything, just kind of definitely lost in a sea of hopelessness right now. And but even though he's kind of lost in hopelessness, I see a little bit of hope. I
Yeah.
see a little bit of hope for him, and I have hope that maybe over like the next 3 years or something, God will work in his life. So I guess I don't know if people wanna like pray for him, I guess. I don't know. Um, I don't want to give
Oh,
out his
well,
real
yeah.
name, but you can just, I don't know, pray for Nova's coworker.
Indeed.
Because he needs it.
Yeah.
If there is any, like, I've never asked for prayer. And it's, it kind of gets weird when people ask me, like, how can I pray for you? I'm like, uh, I don't know. And I have to, like, think of something on the spot. So generally, my go to is, my friend and I started a podcast recently, so if you wanna pray that that's successful, that's literally like,
Yes.
I don't know what's but if anyone were to ask me that now, I would say to pray for my coworker because
Yeah.
it's like he's right on the edge, and I don't know if I can pull him back, but I know that I wanna try.
Yeah.
And I some things happen in your life, and a lot of people say it's coincidence, but there comes a point where especially if you're, a Christian, true born again believer, you can, when you start hearing it, like, just when you start looking back on your life, and especially if you hear someone else and events happen in their life, and you correlate the events that happen in your life to events that happen in their life, when you look at that and see, like, in alignment, coincidence just doesn't seem to be adequate enough to describe
Yeah.
that. So, I'm not claiming to know the will of God because the only one who knows the will of God is the will of God. um,
Hmm.
but I'm kind of maybe starting to see a path that he might want me to take.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, very, very interesting week for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that is brilliant, and I've already told you he's definitely in my prayers,
yes.
and
Another thing I want to say is that night when we were, when I was listening to him talk, I actually called up my elder the following morning and was telling him a little bit about it, trying to just because when someone just like opens up the book of their life to you, like you've read it, you've got an introduction, you kind of know this person, you know a little bit about what's been going on, some events, but they just went full on background information. Like if someone wrote a book, they just laying out like all the things that didn't make it into the book. At some I realized afterwards, like, I needed to talk to somebody. I literally sent JJ
Yeah.
messages like, "I need to talk," in all caps just to get it out. Like
Yeah.
I described myself as kinda being a sponge that just soaked up all
Oh,
of this
definitely, yeah.
liquid, and it's like, I need to be squeezed out or else I'm gonna burst or something.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I ended up talking to my elder, and he kinda, gave me his thoughts.
Yeah.
And, one thing I was telling him is that I don't wanna say that I saw, like, a manifestation or that I felt possessed or anything, like, mystical like that, but I will say that I definitely felt the presence of the Holy Spirit that night,
Yeah.
and sometimes it was more intense than like, it wasn't constant in the way of like, "Oh my gosh, I am just on fire for 12 straight hours." No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no. There were times where like, my uh Johnny's just talking about something that happened in his life and he's kind of spacing out. Like he's not looking at me, he's kind of looking off into the distance and I can tell he's not really present. And I just felt like I had to get up and I hugged him.
Yeah.
And it's like he didn't even acknowledge me, but I just felt like just having that physical contact was just the only way I could express how much I cared for him in that
Yeah.
moment when he's just saying, pretty depressing stuff. um,
Yeah.
and then there was another moment where, I it's like I did that and then I went back and I sat down and it was like it's like if you're at a campfire and the fire starts dying. It's not gone. It's just kind of dim. You got to add
Yeah.
logs to it and it starts roaring again. It's like every now and then I'd have that roaring fire moment where it's just I can't speak. I just need to like embrace you and
Yeah.
um there was another moment where I got up and I just grabbed his hands and I made him look me in the eyes. Like I just like look at me while you're talking to me cuz it's just that intensity and
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's any other word for it besides the Holy Spirit was there. Especially
And
at
that experience
times,
of Christ's love.
yeah, which yeah, definitely that's something that's uh kind of been stuck with me cuz my when I was talking on the phone to my elder, he said to me that we love because Christ first loved us.
Mhm.
And I think a lot I mean, I'd actually not too long ago been thinking about this. I may have even mentioned it on the podcast. We're 3 episodes in, and I can't even remember what I said 2 episodes ago, so this will be great. This will be great. So don't expect me to remember what I said on the last episode. Um,
No.
but, no, I remember thinking recently, like, what does it mean to love my neighbor, really? Like, what does that actually mean
Yeah.
to display the love of Christ? Because in our world, we think
Mhm.
of love and we think of our boyfriend, our girlfriend, our mom, our dad, our
Yeah.
brother, like family or friend. Like, you don't really like. I remember. I do actually remember one thing because I told JJ I love her, and not in that way.
Yeah.
No.
And this is it, and, like, today you have
Um.
to you shouldn't have to clarify that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It should just be, "Yeah, I love you."
Yeah.
And,
We've
you know, there
we've
shouldn't have to be, like, not in that way.
Yeah, not in that
Um,
way, or
y
"I love you,
yeah, but that is
man," or "Girl, like, you're just a
yeah.
friend,"
Yeah.
like, you always gotta have that disclaimer, and
I know, and it shouldn't be like that, it shouldn't be like that, but it is the society we live in,
but it is
you
definitely
know?
hard because it's
Oh,
like,
no, Samson.
"Oh, no. Oh, no.
Can you
We've"
hear him?
I heard something, I didn't like, did he bark? Because I didn't hear that.
He did, he backed,
I
but his
didn't hear
barks
that.
might be too powerful.
Oh, good. Good.
Uh Yeah, if I mute my
Uh,
mic, it'll be because of him. You continue, Nova.
okay, yeah, we'll have Samson alerts, you know? Um, but, yeah, no, One thing that is definitely kind of a struggle is being a Christian and displaying Christ's love, especially in this day and age. Like, you know, obviously I'm a young-ish woman, and you know, I don't have a boyfriend or husband or anything like that. So if I feel love for someone, especially of the opposite gender, it's like, how do I, like, talking about Christ love, not romantic love, not like familiar love, just pure, you know, in the way God loves me, how do I display that to someone else, especially if it's someone else
Yeah.
of the opposite gender? Because, if I come up and say, "Oh my gosh, I love you." Now,
Mhm.
obviously, I wouldn't say it. It does kind of depend how you also express, like, "Oh, I love you so much," or "Oh my gosh, I'm
Yeah.
deeply in love with," and like, if you just come up and someone say, "I love you," just pure like that, what do you think they're gonna, especially a non-believer, what do
Yeah.
you think they're gonna
Well,
they're gonna look at
yeah.
you insane,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
or they're gonna look at you and think, "Oh, oh," like,
Yeah.
it's like, so how do you get that through someone's head without them
Yeah,
taking it the
express
wrong
that.
way?
Mhm.
And I never realized how
Yeah.
much of a struggle that was until you feel that for someone else.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, we'll definitely see. I've kind of, at the forefront of my mind is I want to help Johnny. And in the
Yeah.
back of my mind, I'm thinking there's a very real possibility that my help it may not be, there's basically going to be two outcomes. Either I'm going to help Johnny, whether I see the results of that or not, or he's going to help me.
Mhm.
And yeah, I might expand on that later, but for now, I will leave it at that. Um,
Yes.
but yeah.
I'm just I'm so sorry, Nova. I've got a dog that is causing absolute chaos.
Oh my gosh. You know
So
what you're gonna have to do is get him some,
chill out.
doggy drugs and like put him out for a good 2 hours. Although
Oh
we
my
are
gosh.
we are at 57 minutes, so if you want to make this a shorter podcast,
We can do.
if
I
Sam
mean, this was
seems,
good.
yeah, just
I
kind
think
of,
this was good. And this I like this format. We just kind of it was more off the cuff and I like that. And I think that is more accurate to how our conversations usually are.
yep,
We
this is,
just
give you guys
this
a
is this
little
is
a
yeah.
little insider, not, this is basically what we do every night. It's just
It
we just
yeah.
decided to hit a record button and say a little introduction at the start. That's
Yeah,
the only
exactly, and I
difference.
think and this I mean, this is like because the way we
Um,
how our conversations pan out, this is obviously there was other underlying things as well, but is
yeah.
why we thought, "Oh, yeah, this is we do it would be a good podcast this because we this is how we talk."
No.
And I think that's good, like, yeah, we've got topics that we can fall back on if we're struggling, but for the most part, we can just talk and yap for ages.
We could. We really could.
We could, and I
Um,
think that's great. And I've enjoyed this. This is yeah, it's been interesting. And if we have listeners, if you want to comment on how you display and how do you go about expressing love for people as Christ would? Um because we have touched on how difficult that can be at times, but not in just the expressing of it, but actually the feeling of it. I especially struggle with that, which I am working on.
I would say,
Um,
um, now this, what I was just talking about with Johnny is just like one very new example in my life, but
yeah,
another way that I do, or kind of started to show Christ's love, and I kind of struggled with like if I was even doing that, honestly, um, was in my workplace.
yeah,
I So for like Valentine's Day. Easter and now the 4th of July, I've put together they're basically just like little fun things to do at work. So and they started out small and they've grown into massive things like this last for the 4th of July because it's our 250th anniversary what I decided to do. And very last minute by the way, I wasn't intending to do this, but the idea popped into my head. I'm like, well, it's there. Got to do it.
Mhm.
Um is I actually bought 250 party favors, little
I think that is so
trinkets,
cute.
specifically for the 4th of July slash our 250th anniversary. And every day, July 1st, July 2nd, July 3rd, and July 4th, I brought in a new set of 250 items. Okay.
Mm.
And then on the 4th of July, because every show needs a finale, um, I actually put together, there's like 95, 96 total employees at my workplace. And I put together 100, because I got up a few extra just in case, goodie bags with a little 4th of July piece of candy because I didn't get as much as I thought. I was going to fill the bag with candy. Anyway, it just ended up one each, like a little lollipop or something. And I got a little stress ball star shaped like a star that's got like 250th on it and a little box that I don't know if it had the I don't think it had the Pledge of Allegiance, but it kind of described what the stars and the stripes are for our flag. And inside of that, I put little mini figurines. So I had red, white, and blue ducks. I had little duck-shaped eagles, like they were painted to look like
Yeah.
eagles, little eagle, actual eagle mini figurines, and even some little red, white, and blue axolotls that had, 4th of July hearts on them. It's very cute. And I put a bunch of
Yeah.
those in there. And
I
I
love that.
also, in that bag, put, well, in that box, actually, I put a little mini cross. And I had an envelope with
Mhm.
a 4th of July 250th themed card. And in that card, because I always try to put Christ in the holiday if it's not a holiday completely related to him like Easter or Christmas. Um so for the 4th of July, I actually did struggle like what am I going to do? Like how do I It's not really something that I can find God easily in. Well,
Mhm.
I decided to write out our Pledge of Allegiance. Well, I typed it out and I underlined under God and I found 10 different, and I printed off like a bunch of sheets, a variety of Bible verses that mentioned either nation, country, freedom, citizenship, things of that nature that kind of apply to America. And there's one Bible verse and a Pledge of Allegiance in that card.
Yeah.
And that was my way of kind of, you know,
I think
sharing
that's really
sharing the gospel.
yeah, I think that's beautiful. And I
And
can remember you asking something about, "Is that enough?" And someone commented, didn't they? Um, Something really helpful in one of the on YouTube on one of the last was it last episode? Episode 2?
yes, I think so.
And, I think that is
Yeah.
so incredibly thoughtful.
Yeah.
Um,
And what makes it even better, so for Valentine's Day and Easter, I specifically said, don't I don't want anyone to know it's me because I
yeah.
don't do this for recognition. Well,
Mhm.
unfortunately, for the 4th of July, my store manager let the cat out of the bag. I said, "You don't have to mention my name." And what does she do in the huddle? Well, she said she doesn't have to mention her name, but if you want to thank her, I'm
Oh.
like, thanks.
Oh,
So
no.
everybody knows it was me. And but it's kind of interesting. Even though I only put the gospel in those specific envelopes, in those specific goodie bags for the employees, despite that, what I did like it kind of took on a life of its own. So I ended up having coworkers who would um like put on a bunch of bracelets, wear a bunch of necklaces, and would
Mm.
attach things to their carts. And during the day, if like little kids or customers they'd come around, they'd be like, "Oh, do you want one of these bracelets?" And they'd pull out their arm like they're a shady dealer and be like, "Which bracelet do you want?" And so they would share that with others.
Yeah,
So
it's
even though
beautiful.
they're not sharing God's word, it's still the act of I kind of started this and it just kind of spread out to reach even customers that I've never met and will never likely meet in my
Yeah.
life. But, you know, they might have like a bracelet or something that reminds them of my store, and who knows what they could
Yeah,
get in the future, or who knows where
exactly.
that will
And
lead. Like, I don't know. But
I love that. I really, really love that. And your thoughtfulness, because and how you think of others, even when you're struggling, I think is such a strength. One of the things that I pray to God about is that when I'm suffering, I find it very hard, and I will admit this. Um, it can give me a bit of tunnel vision, and
mm,
ultimately can make me quite selfish because I am in survival mode. I can't see anything other than my own suffering, and that is something that I want to change, and that I'm working to change with the help of God. But you do these things and put all this thought into these things that you do with work, even though I know that work can be a real source of pain for you. And I think that's beautiful.
I mean, it is kind of a little annoying when you see a coworker and it's like they don't know you're the one who put all this together, and they grab
Yeah,
something and they try it and they just toss it in the garbage. It's like that actually
yeah,
happened. I'm like, well, I know not everyone's gonna appreciate it, so I just kind of,
yeah, but you don't let that deter you, because
no.
like and I think that takes strength, because sometimes it can be easy like to be treated in a specific way where you think, okay, then I'm just not going to bother, but you don't let how people treat you change you, and I think that takes a lot of strength, and I do admire that about you. I really do.
Well, thank you.
And I find it so adorable that you do these things. I really do. I really do. It's just wonderful.
I've definitely got plans for Halloween and Christmas as well. Don't
Yeah, I know you do. You have plans for all of the things,
I
and I love
don't
it.
know what I could do for
I love it.
Thanksgiving though, because I don't know, I gotta think long and hard about Thanksgiving, but definitely Halloween and Christmas. Halloween's probably the most fun I'm looking for. Um, but I'm not gonna say I don't think any of my coworkers would listen to this podcast, but on the chance they do, I'm not saying anything. You don't get a spoiler. So,
I love it. I love
um,
it so much. It's so, so cute.
which
And it's just beautiful.
oh, I didn't tell you about my love experience, did I?
No, you did not. And I remember you saying about it. Tell me.
Alright. I don't know if this is supposed to be like a corporate secret, so I don't care if it is or not. Um, if they find out, I'm like, whatever. You didn't tell me not to share it.
Hmm.
So, yeah, um, gosh, was it last week? Or I guess that would have been maybe 2 weeks ago now. They had this every now and then they roll out some new program of like customer service, basically.
Mm.
It's basically trying to teach people common sense because we live in a world of uncommon sense.
Oh,
So they're
yes.
trying to teach people how to be nice, essentially. It's so,
Hmm.
it's almost insulting to someone like me who's like, yeah, I know how to be nice to people, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just a bit antisocial, so you're not gonna see me walking up to a customer and be like, "Hi, how are you? How can I help you today?"
Yeah.
That's just not me. But if someone needs help, I'm
No.
like, "Oh yeah, right over here." Like I'm very helpful. It
Yeah.
just depends on your personality type and how shy, introverted, or outgoing you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, so they had this training thing that every employee had to go through. All right. It was literally a conference call, and there's me, and there was four of us in my little group. And, you got this basically a giant Zoom call between the different stores.
Mm.
And led by some poor HR guy who's probably done this at least 15 times now and has realized some of us aren't really going to want to engage, and he's just trying to get through it as quickly as possible. But yeah, it was literally called a love experience. Okay.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be more interactive than it actually ended up being. Like we got this sorry, I I looked back to try to find my little paper thing, and my cat's just laying on the floor like he's dead because it's hot out and he's just melting.
It's just melting.
Oh, my poor
Oh,
baby.
bless him.
He is not dead though. He did move. Anyways,
Oh.
no. So I had this. It's like this little stick with this circle paper on it, kind of like a fan that a little paper fan. Kind of looks like that. And it had a
Yeah.
broken heart and a whole heart on one side. I literally thought we were gonna be sitting there and they'd ask us questions like, pull up an example of like, "Oh, you see, uh, an employee or an employee walks past a customer who broke an egg. Was this a loving experience or not or a broken heart?" And I thought we'd have to like hold up the thing and be like, "It's a broken heart
Oh,
or a
no.
heart," or no, we didn't end up having to do anything like that. I was kind of disappointed. I don't know the purpose of the fan that we got. I really don't. I mean, they gave us like heart-shaped glasses and everything. It was so funny.
Oh
Um,
my goodness.
and I was pretty much just kind of watching a bunch of little goofy animated videos. But one thing that came up in that is we were told that we are experience makers, and every
Right.
interaction with a customer is an experience. You make an
Yeah.
experience. I didn't even listen to the rest of the thing because I'm just sitting there like, I am about to be the number one experience maker in my store. And I can't even say anything because if I do, it will spoil the surprise.
Yeah.
But what made it even more hilarious is I'm 100% serious when I say this. Okay. Obviously, I'm not going to say your name, but literally in the middle of this, okay, I get a text from a church lady,
Mm.
and I will read the text excluding her name. It says, "I pray you are well. I like to text a lady of our congregation from time to time. How can I be praying for you personally right now?" And I laughed out loud in the in the conference office because I'm just sitting there. I wanted to text her back so badly, like, well, pray for my endurance." Because I'm literally in this stupid love experience. Uh, but I couldn't do that because I don't know her very well. I've only met her once. Um, so we don't know each other. What she wouldn't know that it was a joke.
Yeah.
But I showed my coworkers afterwards. I'm like, the timing of this, the timing, like she
Yeah.
literally texted me in the middle of this, and I'm just, oh, it's
That
almost,
is funny.
it's like God has a sense of humor.
Oh,
He
he
does.
does.
He does. People may not wanna hear that or think that's kind of insulting. No, he's funny. He's
Yes.
very funny.
He
Like,
is. He really
Like, you
is.
can see it in the Bible. He's so
Mhm.
funny. Now, I'm
I
sure the
mean,
people in the moment don't think it's very funny, but
no.
us, it's hilarious,
Yeah,
like we were
with
talking about the
hindsight, yeah.
Israelites. Um,
Yes, it is so funny. It is so funny. But yeah, I mean, God gave us a sense of humor.
he
So,
did.
of
Where
course
do
it's
you
gonna
think we
it's
get I mean, heck, um, you know, when Sarah gets told that she's gonna have a baby in her old age, she laughs. And God
yeah.
literally goes, "Why is she laughing?" Like, basically, "What's so funny?" Like, I can just imagine in the modern era, you hear someone, you're 90 years old, "You're gonna have a baby next year." That's
Yeah.
not gonna happen. And then the person just looks at you dead in the face. "What's so funny?" Like, just imagine
Yes.
the modern equivalent of that. And then what does he say that she's gonna name her son? Laughter. Isaac. It means laughter.
Does it really?
That's what it says in the Bible.
Oh
They
my
I
goodness.
will you didn't know that?
Well, I have read it obviously because I've got to Deuteronomy. I forgot it though.
Um, let me
It's so cool.
I'm gonna see if I can find it. Um, so this is where he's calling him. No, that's Ishmael. No. See. Is it? You can talk while I do this, so they're not just like dead air.
Oh, well, I am currently Oh yeah, I completely forgot we were doing a podcast. That is so funny.
I guess I do have the privilege of like having a timer and looking at the record button to remind me that, oh yes,
I
we are in fact,
completely I
you know.
did. I was currently so I am while we're talking, I'm knitting a teddy bear. And unfortunately, while knitting one of the arms, a hole has appeared. So I was very, very much focused on trying to fix said hole. I think I've done it. But yeah, I completely forgot we were doing a podcast. Oh my god. Well, I suppose that's a good thing. That's what we want. We want that authenticity. So that is good.
Okay, okay, so I found at least the one part I was looking for. Uh,
Yeah.
See, this is why it's so hard to read the Bible sometimes because it's like there's this three visitors chapter, which is where I was thinking of. And then it's like three chapters later, it gets to the birth of Isaac. Um, yeah, so the three visitors, which in and of itself is kind of fascinating to read.
Mm.
But yeah, so basically, these three visitors come, and Abraham invites them into his tent or whatever, gets them something to eat and drink. And yeah, and then they ask him, and this is where I'm actually reading. They say, "Where is your wife, Sarah?" They asked him. "There in the tent," he said. Then one of them said, "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son." Now Sarah was listening at the entrance to the tent, which was behind him. Abraham and Sarah were already very old, and Sarah was past the age of childbearing. So Sarah laughed to herself as she thought, "After I am worn out and my Lord is old," my Lord being Abraham, "will
Mm.
I now have this pleasure?" Then the Lord said to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh and say, 'Will I really have a child now that I am old?' Is anything too hard for the Lord? Will I return to you?" Or no, I basically like, what's so funny? Literally. Um,
I
and
love
and then
it.
he goes on to say, "I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son." And then Sarah was afraid, so she lied and said, "I did not laugh." But he said, "Yes, you did laugh." And then it gets into Sodom and Gomorrah, but then, yeah, the birth of Isaac. And Where was it? Yeah. So literally like 3 chapters later, the birth of Isaac. Now the Lord was gracious to Sarah, and as he had said, uh, Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah what he had promised. Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in his old age, at the very time God had promised him.
Mm,
Abraham gave the name Isaac to the son Sarah bore him. When his son
yeah.
Isaac was 8 days old, Abraham circumcised him as God commanded him. Abraham was 100 years
Mm,
old when his son Isaac was born to him. Sarah said, God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me. And she
yeah.
added, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age.
Yeah. That is amazing. I
I
love
thought
that.
I thought that
I actually
was
I
a part
actually
in
really
here, but
I love the whole sort of Abraham and Sarah thing because like they waited so long to have this son
mm-hmm.
and it's actually a really good demonstration about the trusting God and trusting his word and promises, but it's also it's not it's not how so when because God, I mean, I'm paraphrasing again, so please do correct me if I'm wrong, but God said that Abraham would have many, many sons or many children, like count, the stars or something like that. He said, "Look up at the
His
stars." Is
offspring.
Yeah,
Let me. His
and
covenant with him, I think.
so obviously, in Abraham's understanding, he thought he would have lots and lots of children directly, him and Sarah. But God actually meant that in terms of like descendants.
Well, no, he does straight up say to him. So it's the Lord's covenant with Abraham, which is in I probably should have specified earlier. That's in Genesis 15. In
Mm.
18 is the three visitors comment where Sarah laughs at God, basically. And then in Genesis 21 is when Isaac is born. But what you're thinking of is in Genesis 15. Um, so yeah, that's when Abram gets his vision before he becomes Abraham. And
Yeah.
he
Oh,
says, he
yes.
says, Sovereign Lord, what can you give me since I remain childless, and the one who will inherit my estate is Eleazar of Damascus? And Abram
Mm.
said, You've given me no children, so a servant in my household will be my heir. Then the word of the
Yeah.
Lord came to him, This man will not be your heir, but a son who is your flesh and blood will be your heir. He took him outside and said, Look up at the sky and count the stars, if indeed you can count them. Then he said to him, So shall your offspring be. Now,
Yeah.
that's just in the NIV translation. It probably is translated, I would assume, as like actual descendants. Like, because
Yeah.
he straight up says, You're going to have a son of your own flesh and blood, and then your
Right.
offspring is more in line with descendant, I think is
Yeah.
I know there is a
What
part where he talks about the descendants though.
what caused so did Hagar, where does Hagar come into it? Abraham have a Ishmael with Hagar? Is that right?
It's literally the next chapter. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it panic? What I can't remember
It
why
was
he
Sarah.
ended up was it yeah, so Sarah sort of made him have a
So
child.
it literally, well, so how that one starts off is now Sarai, because this is before they get their names, Abram's wife had borne him no children, but she had
Mm,
an Egyptian slave named Hagar. So she said
yeah.
to Abram, The Lord has kept me from having children. Go sleep with my slave, perhaps I can build a family through her. And I learned relatively recently that basically this was customary. If your wife was childless, you could use one of her slaves. Jacob does the same thing with how he gets
Mm,
all his kids. Um, the only difference being he actually, I think, married those women. I don't fully remember, but
yeah.
no, it's basically Sarah feels like she's never gonna have a child. She kind of doesn't have maybe as much faith at that point as Abraham.
Yeah.
And so she's like, just do it with Hagar. Hagar will give you a
Yeah.
kid. Give us a kid, basically, because it's her. She literally says, build a family. Perhaps I can build a family through her.
Yeah.
And Abraham, being a man, is like, okay.
Yeah.
So he does it. And then Sarah's like, why did you do this? You told me to do this. I know I told you to do this, but why
Yes!
did you do this? Basically.
Why did you listen?
Why did you listen? That's basically what happens.
It's so
So,
true. But the thing I love about the Bible is that the people within it, like, they're not
they're people.
they the people, and
They're
they
people.
struggle,
They struggle.
and
Yeah.
they even struggle, like Sarah, with faith,
Yep.
and the doubts creep in, and it's not all about perfect people who do perfect things. I mean, obviously the Israelites, wow. But
Yeah. Well,
but
even
it
like you
is.
mentioned, King David, or we mentioned him
Yeah.
earlier, yeah, he's writing Psalms, he's taking everything to God, and then what does he
Yeah.
do? He commits adultery and murder.
Yeah.
Like, those are the two
Yes.
biggest no-nos, and
Like,
he does them.
seriously, these are a lot. They're just people that
Yeah.
mess up.
Yep.
And does that not show you just how good and merciful God is? That he continues to keep his promises. And, yeah, it's honest, and I do appreciate that about the Bible,
You
that it
know,
is honest in their brokenness.
you know what I really love is, again, this understanding of this particular passage I'm gonna reference comes from Live Free, so shout out to them again. Um, is the because you know the story when God puts Abraham in that he puts him to sleep and he kind of makes that covenant and he like takes the form of a smoking firepot and walks through like the sacrifices. You know
Yes,
that where he makes that covenant?
I know what you're gonna say because I think I've actually watched this too, but go on.
Because I remember they were talking about this. And they do it in the very cool, dramatic, pastoral way. I'm not cool or
Yeah.
dramatic or a pastor. So basically, what they say is that that moment, which I've read and know about before, was God saying, I'm going to make a promise with you,
Mhm.
but I'm going to change the rules a little bit in that when you break the promise, because I know you will,
Yeah.
I will take the punishment.
Yeah,
Like,
and that
that's the
is so
coolest thing
cool.
ever.
That is so cool, and it's just like that is such a call forward to Christ, like,
It is.
he does, he
He's
made oh my goodness, and that is the goodness of God. He made a promise that he knew that we would break, and he bore the punishment. He made
Mhm.
it that way, and that is
Mhm.
just incredible. It is
Oh,
incredible.
I'll never forget hearing that. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's so true."
Yeah. Oh, it's incredible. See, I absolutely, one of the things I have thoroughly enjoyed about reading like the Bible from start to finish is, and what I'm looking forward to as well, is just seeing all these little um moments where I'm like, "Oh, that's Jesus."
I know.
You know
What
where
I know. I love oh my gosh. So, I'll be honest, I didn't make it very far. I think I got to Noah and I got distracted. But I was attempting to kind of listen through from I'm not purposefully reading the Bible from start to
Yeah,
finish, but I want to go through and start the Old Testament and
yeah,
specifically look for references of Jesus.
yeah.
Because it's like once you know his story and once you learn more
Mhm,
about because there are some things that I love listening to Live Free or I love listening to other pastors like the educated theologians talk because they'll
mhm.
be able to make links to things that I'm like, I didn't even know that was in the Bible. And then they're like making connections like
Yeah.
like those memes with all like the different conspiracy theory lines on a board, which is so cool. And
Oh, it
they're, like,
really
making
is.
connections to, like, just just yesterday, their most recent episode, uh, they were talking about how, when Moses, sees God as the burning bush, like, they're talking about, like, "Yeah, that was probably Jesus." I'm like, "What? How?
Yeah,
Why?" And
yeah,
then they go through and they talk about it, I'm like, "Oh, okay."
and do you know, right? And so obviously, you know, the transfiguration, there's a lot of different
Mhm,
interpretations of it.
mhm.
So like when is it Moses
It's
and Elijah?
Elijah,
Elijah.
I think.
And
I think.
so when they appear next to Jesus, like there is some interpretations because obviously God is outside time, space, matter,
Mhm.
and it could be that the moment he's in that, you know, transfiguration, that's when he's talking to Moses and Elijah.
Whoa.
Like, how cool is that? Like that moment that they see, because I can't remember which disciples that he shows his transfiguration to.
Well, it's probably
Is the only
John and
three of them?
Peter, and then
Yeah,
I think it's James, John, and Peter, the main 3 that are always kind of there when the big
and
stuff
like they're
happens, I
and
think.
they're seeing Jesus with Moses and Elijah, um, and it's like that could have been the moment that Moses saw the burning bush. So you know, because
Oh
like
my
Jesus
gosh.
is outside of time, space, and
It's
matter. So
true.
it's just so cool. It's so cool because I know
He's
some people
he's the
have been
OG time
like,
traveler.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And oh, I just find that so incredible. Like, because obviously there's different interpretation as well what happens when we die. I know paradise is mentioned, like some sort of heavenly waiting room. Other interpretations is that we are asleep until judgment day. I'm still not too sure which side I fall on. I don't know enough. Because some
Mhm.
people are saying like how did Moses and Elijah appear? Because they should be, you know, they are dead, you know, they should be asleep until judgment day. And then obviously there's some people that say, oh well, they're in paradise, awaiting judgment day. Or is it Sheol? I don't know how to pronounce it.
There's
Um
Sheol, yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it either. I think it's Shoel.
yeah, and then
Shoal.
obviously the abyss as well, isn't there? So it's like two different waiting
There's
rooms, so I think
Shoal
anyway.
and then Paradise, or I know it's been called, like, Abraham's bosom, which is just
Yes, yeah.
hilarious to me. I'm like, "Okay." I mean, I get I mean, he is the father
Yeah,
of
I will always
Israelites who
remember a
became,
song,
I assume,
and
Christians, but
do
anyways.
you did you sing this song as a kid? Because I remember this song so clearly as a kid. Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham,
Yes,
and
and
I am one of them,
I'm
and
not
so
gonna
are
sing it
you.
with you. I'm not gonna sing it with you.
And let's all
Nope,
praise the Lord. And then you
nope,
had to do like a bunch of actions, and
yep.
then you sing it again and have to remember them.
You know what? When we're done recording, because the listeners aren't gonna see any video, I will show you a video that I remember watching.
Mm.
So if I can find it, because that song is tied to a music video that is, I would say it haunts me, but I've blocked it out of my memory until now. So thank you. Thank you for that.
You're so
Oh my
welcome.
gosh. I haven't heard that song in a very long time.
Brought it all back for you. You are so
Yes.
welcome.
And
Do you
you
know
can
what I've just realized, Nova?
what?
An hour ago, we said, "Are we good? Yeah, we could end it now. We'll just do a short one."
Yeah. And here we are. Well, I thought Samson was gonna pull you away, but he seems to have no longer been an
It's
issue.
no, no, it's gone back to sleep.
Oh, see? Well, we can keep going for another 30 minutes now. See, this is why we can't even have a script because we just fill time.
I know.
So,
I know, I really like this format so much better. I really do.
It
Because
is.
it's just been it's all everything we've talked about has sort of led to something else, and I just enjoy it. I just really enjoy it.
Mhm, mhm.
So
Yeah, I like it too.
so
Um,
cool. But yeah, it's all of the sorry, I interrupted you. What were you gonna say?
I don't remember.
Oh. Oh yeah, it was about a music video you were gonna share with me, and I brought all your trauma back from the Abraham song.
You did, and I'm officially traumatized now. Oh, I was gonna say you're more than welcome to sing on the podcast, but don't expect me to sing along with you. I don't do that. So
Hey, I might sing one day because I did used to be in a band. I was the lead singer in a band a few years ago. So I can
mhm.
actually sing, but I have the worst stage fright. I would absolutely love to be like part of a choir. Um, or like my church, obviously like the worship band. But my stage fright is just too horrendous. I had
I
to
used
give
to
it
be in a
up because it
choir.
was I love choirs.
I used to love
I
choir, yeah.
love choir. I want to be in a choir. Should we make our own choir, Nova?
No. We're gonna we're gonna need a bit more people for that.
Oh, oh! If we get a big audience, let's all be a choir.
Well, when you acquire that big audience, you let me know.
I will, and you could be
Go
the lead singer.
no. My
But
church
yeah,
actually
I
does
would
have a
definitely.
choir.
Do they have a choir?
A small
Oh,
one.
we don't have one.
Well, why don't you
We've got.
start one?
I should, but then I
Yeah.
get scared.
Well, if you start one, then it won't be just you.
This is true.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I do enjoy a choir, definitely. And I would actually like to go around one year. You know, like how people used to like. I don't even know whether do you get this in America? I imagine so, where people knock on and sing Christmas carols. That's
Oh,
very American,
yes.
isn't it?
That is very American and Christian. I
Yeah,
remember I remember going over to a few houses around Christmas time for Bible studies. And yeah, they'd go out and sing Christmas carols and I hated every minute of it. And like
I
this is
love
the
that.
most awkward thing ever.
Well, I mean,
But I was
I
a little
think I'd
kid back
enjoy.
then, so of
Yeah,
course, you know.
I think I'd enjoy actually being in a group that's singing. But I mean, I've had it a few times, like where you open the door and there's a group of people singing at you. That's awkward.
Yeah.
Like, I just, yeah, that's the
Yeah.
awkward bit.
There's a reason in most movies you get the door slammed on you. Like, no, thank you. No, my favorite evangelizing, I think is what that is, was actually around the 4th of July. What the church groups would do, I loved doing this, is we would go to like a big park where they were doing a fireworks show and we just pass out water bottles. Now, I don't know what the
No.
adults talked about or if they handed out tracts because, again, I was a little kid and it's like, I just want to go out and walk
Mm.
around a park and hand out water bottles. So they probably, would talk to people about the gospel or hand out a Bible tract, but it was just going around and passing water to people on a hot day. I'm like, now that is something I can get behind.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Oh, I like that. There's so many different ways to do it.
Hmm.
And like just even the things that you do for your colleagues, that is, spreading the gospel.
Yep, and not everybody appreciates it, so well, not everybody appreciates it in general, but I also
No.
try specifically I guess I try to remember what Jesus says. We are the salt of the earth. And if you're serving a meal, salt is not the main portion of the meal.
No.
So I always try to make the main portion like, 4th of July, red, white, and blue, little trinkets. Or for Easter,
Yeah.
fill like candy or toys in an Easter egg. And the little bit of salt is just like adding in a Bible verse, putting on a sticker with a
Yeah,
Bible verse, adding a bracelet with a Bible verse, or something
exactly.
small like that, where it's like, you know what? I'm not trying to force it on you. You want to throw it away, you can throw it away. But if you want to keep it, as a little memento, or if you actually want to invest in it, like that's just a little bit of salt. Some people want to scrape the salt
Exactly.
off, and some people like the taste, and some people it doesn't hurt them one way or another.
Yeah. No, I like that. That is good. And it's like as well, like obviously, like back then, salt was a I don't know, I could just be making this up. But like it was used as a preservative. So it is, it's like a little bit just to it's preserve the truth. We are the truth preservers.
You want to know how I
And
know salt is a preservative?
how?
Ark. I literally know that from video games because I need to harvest salt to preserve the meat from spoiling.
They say that video games don't teach. They do. They
They
teach
do.
very good things.
They absolutely do.
I really wish I could play Ark. Like
You
it's so my
can.
I know, but it just looks so bad. Or I can't read the
Well,
writing.
you know what? In a month, when you move out, you get your life settled, and you can finally get that PC, and then you and I will
I
play Ark
know.
together. It'll be amazing. I
Yes.
will teach you the ways of the admin overlord, and we'll have so much fun.
I
In
just want to have
creative mode,
dinosaur
it'll be
pets.
great.
Yes, yes. Well, yeah, when you turned off creative mode, I really did see how scary that world is. My goodness me.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
creative mode makes it pretty good. You turn off creative mode, you're dead instantly.
Yes!
Dinosaur will kill you, the
Like
environment will kill you, you can
A
drown, you
turtle!
fall
A
damage.
tortoise will just, like, shamble over to you and just kill you, and it's like, "What?"
Yeah, yeah,
Honestly.
sure.
But yeah, yeah, it does teach you. It does teach you a lot. See,
Sure.
I love video games because I love stories. But I will
Yes.
say, and we actually have spoke about this, but since coming to Christ, I have definitely viewed, um, things differently in games, and especially games where I actually have to make decisions.
Oh yeah.
It does paint, I make different decisions now based on since coming to Christ, and I love
Mhm.
that. I love that.
Well, one of these times we'll have a podcast talking about video games. Why not? It's
Yes,
something,
it might come
big
up, it
part
might
of
not.
it might. It may. Yeah, you never know. This is why we're never gonna
I
tell you
imagine
what
it
we're
will.
talking about next week, unless
Yeah,
there's one episode in particular that I have laid out, reserved, if you will, for a specific topic. But outside of
I know which one.
that, outside of that, um, you're not gonna know what we're talking about next week
No,
because we
gonna be
don't
a
know what we're
surprise.
talking about next week.
We haven't we haven't got a clue.
No. Which I think
Love
makes it
it.
even more exciting. Like, what's gonna
Yeah,
be the topic for this week?
I
Mm.
know. Where is God? Where is the Holy Spirit gonna guide them today? And
Oh,
I like that. We're trusting God, trusting the Holy Spirit to guide us through this podcast.
mhm.
Although we do, I know you've got your reserved one, but we definitely do, and this will probably where we talk about video games, where we actually talk about how we met.
Yes. Yes.
We
So
do
we
need to do that.
that one we know is going to happen. We don't know when it's going to. It doesn't have a reserved slot. But you
It
know what?
doesn't.
We'll just pop in you one day and be like, "You know what? Today's the day."
It is. Today is
We'll
the
just
day.
that's how you'll know today's the day.
Yeah, yeah, that's how we'll introduce that topic, definitely. So, but
It'll be a relevant Bible joke that I'm like, "You know what? Today's the day. This joke is gonna be the one
yeah.
that leads us into
Yeah, we won't even know. We won't even
it."
know until it happens that
I
we
can
are
tell
going to
you
discuss it.
it ain't gonna be next week, I don't think. Looking at next week's Bible joke, I don't get it. It's another one that I don't get. Like, I'm gonna be thinking about this all week now, like
I don't try and get it. No, we have to you have to just, like, let it go and then say it next week, and then we both have to figure it out.
Well, it's hard to do when it's staring at me. It's right in front of my screen. It's, like, looking at me all week long.
It's goading you, like,
It
"Haha, you don't
is.
understand."
I don't understand.
Oh, I do love the Bible jokes. They are
They are
so
great.
good.
You're great. I'm so glad I found it. Give us at least a year's worth of content there.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, then I'm gonna have to find
definitely.
another one because the jokes are so bad that you're gonna remember them. It's like, we've heard this one before.
Yes. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, I'm
Definitely.
never gonna forget that Noah's Ark one. Oh my gosh. I'd
No!
never forget it.
No! That was so bad. So bad. But, um but yeah, this has been a really good podcast. I've enjoyed this because it has been very, very much just like our natural conversations.
Yeah.
I literally did forget that we were doing a podcast. Like, that's how natural it felt, and that's what I always envisioned when we were doing this.
See, I'm kind of not allowed to forget because if I forget, we're gonna be doing a 4-hour podcast. Be like, oh shoot, we
I know.
don't know.
Yes. Yes.
So I gotta kind of keep
Yes.
an eye on the clock. But yeah, no, we're doing okay. We can keep going for another 20 minutes, or we can start to wrap it up. I know the
We can
longer we
start
go,
winding down.
I know the longer we go, sometimes people are like, they can't listen to it all the way through, or it's too long for
Yeah,
them. Which I say, just clean the house and put us on in the background. It's not like we're sharing anything visual.
exactly.
You just
Yeah,
listening
that's
to
what
us.
podcasts are for. Like, yeah, for the background. Just listen. But yeah, we can wind it up, and it's your turn to do the lead the prayer this
It is
week
my turn to lead the prayer.
because I butchered it last time. It's so hard. Although Nova very, very helpfully has given me something to
I've got a
use as
plan.
a fallback.
I've got a
Yeah.
plan. I'm a help
Um
my sister learn, give her some guidance in
yes,
prayers, and
lead the prayer. And I
totally
hope as
not
well
gonna be familiar to any of my church members if you're listening to this. You're not gonna recognize it at all.
that
And if they could see me, they would know that I'm like moving my eyes back and forth, like, totally innocently, but you can't see me, so ha.
But it's
Anyways.
like, yeah, so if we do have listeners and if this is like the first episode that you have come across, we are trying to improve our skills at leading prayer because there is nothing worse than being at Bible study and being asked to lead the prayer. I
I
just fall
dread it.
apart instantly.
Dread
So
it.
this is our practice.
Yep,
So yeah, there we go. So would you like to lead the prayer, Nova?
I will. May just put my distractions aside, keep looking at Ishmael and Hagar on my phone. Alright. Dear Lord, thank you for this past week for, at least in my country, not so much in JJ's country, um, that, that you've blessed us with 250 years of independence and freedom, and I am so grateful that you've given us a president who is a man. He's not perfect, and but despite his flaws, and much like the flaws of the men in the Bible, you know, even though he's at least said that he's going to rededicate us to you, and I couldn't ask for a better leader than to have one who at least tries to humble himself before you, because it's ultimately you who puts all of the leaders in charge, good, bad, mediocre. They all come from you. And I pray that until our true Lord of Lord and King of Kings comes back, that you would continue to give us good leadership, for my nation, but also for JJ's nation, because I know there are things happening over there that aren't great. And I do pray for JJ's safety, and that you would be with her as she's training her Samson to be a good protector for her. But I thank you for the time we had tonight with this podcast and how just taking joy in the Lord. As you say, our joy comes from the Lord. And I feel so much joy, and I hope that we brought joy to anyone who listens to us. And I pray these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. That was a good one. And did I hear a jingle? Did I hear a
Did
jingle of
you?
Milo?
Did you?
Yes. Did Milo join in?
I don't know where he is.
I heard a jingle.
I literally don't know where he is. So he's probably like right next to me and I just can't see him because he blends in with the shadows of the room. But yeah, he was moving around. I'm actually shocked you heard him. So
I did.
I'm always surprised what comes through on my mic and what doesn't. But yes, the cat was moving around. So,
Oh, he joined
but,
in on the prayer. That was a good prayer. That was very good.
well, thank you.
I enjoyed that.
One tip I can give at least is I always try to keep it relevant to at least something that either happened in the
Yeah.
last few days, last few weeks, or tonight in general, or something recently. That way it's on your mind already.
Yes.
And, you know, I still get
Yeah.
nervous. Like, but then I look
It's
over
just
and
that.
see Chibi Jesus giving me the thumbs up, and I'm like, oh, thank you, Chibi Jesus. Oh, there's the cat.
Yeah, it's that moment where your mind goes blank and then the panic sets in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's what gets me. And that's when I start to fill the silence with nonsense.
Well, don't worry. Like I said, I got a plan, and we're
Yes.
gonna help you, and hopefully, you know, you'll be
By the
praying
yeah.
the mighty prayers in no time.
Oh my
You know,
goodness. Yes.
be raising your
Yes.
hand to pray all the time. Where like people are like,
Oh
no, no, stop, let someone else do it.
no. JJ, stop. Stop volunteering. Yeah, that's gonna be me. By the end of this year, I'll be like, I'll lead the prayer, everybody.
Yeah, please. Yes.
Oh my
But-
goodness, I love it. I love it.
Oh,
So,
before we forget, because we always forget every single episode.
my gosh, we do.
Depending on where you're listening and or watching, not that there's anything to see outside of Chibi Jesus thumbs up, is you know, feel free to like or leave us a heart or subscribe to whatever platform channel you're on. I guess
Yay.
TikTok's a big one. So
Mhm.
yeah, like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. Tell you what your thoughts are about anything that we talked about. You know,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts about, I don't know, my prayer? What are your thoughts about JJ's Baptist Church? What are your thoughts about Christ's love? I don't care. We'll respond,
Yeah.
and you'll know which one of us responds because well, I
We'll
guess you'll have
sign
to
off
leave
with
it.
our name.
You gotta leave a comment to find out.
Yes. Yes, it's a surprise.
Yes. Not really, but yes.
Oh my goodness, Samson's trying to climb onto the microphone.
Oh, well,
Oh
good
no,
thing
is
we're
is
good.
given up. Oh no, he's gone back to sleep.
And
Oh my goodness me.
one day, you'll be able to see. We'll have Sam Cam and Cat Cam, but that's far off in the
Oh
future.
my goodness me.
Hopefully Samson will be well behaved and trained so he can sit still and
Oh
pose
my
like
goodness. I
a
hope so.
great boy.
Yes, I am trying my best. But yeah, like, follow, subscribe, do all the good things, comment, and we hope that you have a blessed week.
Hey, let us
And
remember
we still yes,
that
we need to do the thing.
this is the
I've
day.
literally got it up.
Good, because this is the day that the Lord has made.
We will rejoice and be glad in it.
Yes, we will, and we hope you all do as well.
God bless.